Hello, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today I thought I should touch a bit of some theory in case maybe you just got your guitar and you've been thinking about that theory on the guitar and you've been thinking that looks complicated. Let's try and help you understand what is actually going on the guitar. So I'll start with the basics. You just got your guitar, so how you put it, this part goes between your leg. In case you're sitting like the way I am right now, it goes between your leg so that you can support it. This part supports your arm. You put your arm here, and then you have your plectrum, and when you're playing, you play from this hole around here. This is where you play, and here when you're putting your finger, so you make sure the thumb goes behind the neck of the guitar, and then you have your fingers here, so you leave a gap here so you don't make it touch like that. You have a problem when moving your fingers, so you put it like that. You act like you're holding something in between here so that you can actually move around freely. That's for the basic part. And also when you're sitting, you make sure your back is straight, you're firm, so that you can actually have a good time when you're playing your guitar. All right, so the second part, let's talk about the pitch within an octave. So basically, let's say we have this string here. We call this this is called the low E string. While I'm at it, let me just explain. So we have 6 strings here, and they all have names. So here we have the E and the E. So both of these here are E's. So high E and low E. So the reason why we call this the high E is because when I'm looking at this from my side here, my perspective, I'm actually looking at it from up here. So that is actually my top, and this is my bottom. So we have high E, low E, and then we have B here, the second one, from bottom here, from what you're seeing there. So this is B here, and then this is A. So let me just go through that. That is E, E. Then we have B, A. Then we have G, and then D. If you haven't understood that, you can always rewind the video and just watch that over again so that you actually get it. And then what I was trying to explain is the octave. So we have this here as our E, low E. So when I play this, it's because from here, when I'm not holding it, this is the E note. So when I actually hold this from here and then I move all the way up here to where there are 2 dots here, this is also E. So it simply means it's starting over. This note here and this note here is the same. The only difference is it's an octave, it's higher on pitch. That's the only difference. So it's the same for all the strings here when you reach up to here. Okay, so we move on. We have what we call whole steps and half steps. So before I actually go through that, the neck here is divided into 12 parts, like I explained. So it's divided into 12 of these, and then it starts over from here. So when we actually say whole steps and half step, say I'm actually playing from here. I'm playing this note here on top. When I play this note here and then I move, I said these are frets and these are actually strings. So if I actually skip one fret, say I'm holding from here, and then I skip this fret and I come to this fret, it simply means I've moved a whole step. So I've moved from here, skipped a fret, and then I'm here. It simply means I've moved a whole step. So if I'm here and then I move down going that side, I skip this fret, I come here, I've moved a whole step. The only difference is I've moved going downwards. So I'm pretty sure from that explanation you can actually guess what it means when I say a half step. So we have what we call a half step. So it simply means I'll move from here to the next fret. That is half step. Whole step, half step. Half step, whole step. Okay. Okay, moving on. So the natural music alphabet. So we have what we call the natural music alphabet. So the natural music alphabet is like this. We have 7 letters which we actually represent notes in music. So we have, say I'll start from the beginning to make things easier. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And then once you reach here, it starts over again. So it goes back to A, B, C. So it keeps looping from these 7 just like that. That's the music alphabet. So it simply means if I'm playing here, I'll use only these 7 for now, which there's more because we'll break them down as I go. It's just for explanation purposes right now. So it simply means I can say E, F. So instead of starting from A, I've started from E, but keep in mind I'm going to loop. So E, F, G, A, B, C, D, and then I'm back to E again. So meaning it's looping. So if I had to continue here, it simply means I'll move F, G, A, and I'll keep going on and on like that. So if my guitar was going up to infinity, I'll keep going on and looping just like that, which is the same thing for all the other strings. Like I mentioned, this is A, the second one here. This is A. So meaning if I start here, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then I go back A. So you see where the 2 dots are. I mentioned A here, and then back here and back to A again. Same thing with D. D here. So if I have D, it simply means D, and then I move E, F, G, E, oh wait, A, and then B, C, and then I'm back to D again. Forgot my alphabet just for a moment there. Yeah, so G, same thing, G here, and then we're back A, and then B, C, D, E, F, and then I'm back to G. B here, same thing, B, and then I move here, so C here, D, again, E, F, G, A, B. So that's for that part, the alphabet. Let's move to the next part. All right, so now let's move on to the flats and sharps. So say I'm holding the A note. Say here is the A note on the, this is what, 5th fret? Yes, on the low E string. So if I'm holding this note here and then I move a half step going up, this becomes A sharp. And then if I actually move from A here, I move a half step going down, it simply means this is A flat. So the A sharp is actually represented by a hash in front of that letter. Say if it's A, it will have A and a hash in front, more like this. Or if it's actually a flat, it simply means it will be A, and then this will be an italic B, more like it's just a little bit going down, more like that. So those are flats and sharps. But there are some incidents where it's actually weird when we actually say, like say for example, if I say B sharp, that actually wouldn't work out very well. Okay, it is a note, but it simply means I'm talking about C. there's what we call the chromatic scale. So what this is when I talk about half steps and whole steps. So now we know that when we move a half step, it's from here to here. That is a whole step, sorry, my bad. If I actually move a half step, it's here, whole step to there. So in a case where there's what we call a chromatic scale, this brings up a rule where when you're putting up the alphabet like that, the way I put it, say I'm moving from A, B, so between B and C, all the time it's a half scale. You move a half scale. Let me just demonstrate that. If I'm moving A, I'll move a whole step going to B. When I'm moving to C, I'll move a half step. So this only happens between B and C. And then it also happens again at E and F. That's all. So this is what they actually call the BC and EF rule. So if I'm actually moving from here, coming up here to find the other E, it simply means, let me just demonstrate that. I mentioned between, let me just use the A string to demonstrate that. So this is A. If I open plate, simply means if I move a whole step, it will be B, and then if I move a half step, that is C, and then it continues from C, I go to D, it will be a whole step. From D going to E, that's another whole step. From E to F, remember, it's a half step. And then from F to G, it's a whole step again. From G to A, it's a whole step. So have you noticed that from where I started here, I'm right here where there are two dots, and that's A again. So the chromatic scale, the simplest way that I actually remember is whole step, and then half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, then half step. Then that will actually work out. If I'm on the E string, low E string, meaning low, so meaning E, then F will be a half step. So from E to F, half step. Then I continue moving from F to G, whole step, G to A, whole step, A to B, whole step, B to C, remember, it's actually a half step. And then from C to D, this is actually also a whole step, and then going back to the E. So that is about the chromatic scale, and then I've also mentioned the B, C, and EF rule. Okay, let's move on. Let's look at the major scale. So if, say, I'm talking about having a scale in, say, A, because it's at the beginning. So it simply means it will consist of 7 of these notes, which we mentioned from the alphabet. But how do you know which ones to pick? This is the fun part. So if I'm actually on the A, so it simply means the major scale. First of all, this is the shape of the major scale. So let's talk about the A major scale. So if I'm actually playing the major scale, I'll have this pattern here. So I'll play the halfway where, let's use do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. So how do I know which notes to pick? I'll have A here, following the same formula, showing the same diagram here. So I have fifth fret, this is the low E, 7th, then I go down here, and then I move a half step, whole step, go down to the D string. I have this the 4th fret on the D string, and then I move a whole step, and then back to A. Sorry. So if I had to mention those, meaning it will have to go same way it goes, which is like A, B, C, D, E, E, F, G, back to A. So that I've mentioned that there's what we call, you need to know in this same range here, there are flats, and then we have sharps as well. In there, they also come in. So if I had to do it on this string, for example, it will simply mean if I'm actually following the A scale, it simply means I'll actually go A, B, C here, D here, E, F, G, just like the way I was going at first. But the only difference is there's a formula in there for you to know which ones are the majors and which ones are minors as well. Okay, how to explain this in a simpler way? Say we have A up to another A, which, let me just put this down, which is up to there. Let me just take some water. Another A right there. So if I start A, here in between A, there will be another note that will be A sharp, or we'll call it B flat. And then if we move to B, definitely remember B and C, it's actually half step. So the only difference why here there's actually what we call the sharp or flat, which is B, is because when I'm moving a whole step from A to B. So if I'm moving, this is the note, this is A here. If I'm actually moving from here to here, there's the in between here. So this, if I move it one half step, it will simply mean this will be A sharp. Or if I move from B going down half step, this will actually be B flat. Then if I move from B to C, remember it's a half step, so there's nothing here that I can actually say I've moved the half step and now I have a flat or what. So there's nothing like when I say B, I can say B sharp. That is actually a C note when you actually come to think of it. So meaning, if I continue with what I was doing here, my fingers, it simply means from here A, B, here they can be A sharp or B flat, but between B and C there won't be anything, we'll leave it, but C has a sharp, and then there's D here which also has a flat, so it can also come down here because here it's also a whole step when you're moving from C to D. Same thing when you're actually moving from D to E, I can actually put E flat or D sharp. Still works. But remember again, between E and F, it's a half step. So it simply means there's nothing like E sharp. It simply means that is F. Or if I say F flat, that simply means I'm talking about E. I don't know if that makes sense. But hey, so if I'm at that, it simply means I can keep going. So when you're making a scale, when you want to name the notes in a scale, you need to keep that in mind. So remember, we're talking about whole step, half step, whole step, half step. We'll use that. Okay, so if we're going to mention the notes, making a scale, we said we'll mention the A. So it simply means, if I'm mentioning the A, B, because I've moved the whole step from here to here, this will be B. And if I'm following that same diagram that shows the major scale, how to, which parts, which notes to hold when playing the major scale, it simply means I'll go down here in the A string, which if you actually ask me, you can actually calculate. If you're actually a beginner, you can actually calculate. Look at this. This is the A string, eh? So we're on the 4th fret. So this is the A. Meaning, if we actually move from A here, one whole step, that would be B. a half step, that's C. Then if we move a half step, because we're on the 4th fret here, it simply means this will actually be C sharp. I don't know if that makes any sense. Let me just do this. A. Yes. So that would be a C sharp right there. So you see the way I'm moving A, 1 whole step to B. I'm going into the A string and then I'm holding on the 4th fret, C sharp. And then from C sharp, how do we move? We go D, which is a half step, 5th fret. And then from here, I'm moving a whole step. So from D, if you move a whole step, that will be what? E. So we have E there. And then we're going into the D string here. I don't know if you can see. Yeah. So if I'm holding from the 4th fret again here, following the diagram, it simply means we can actually calculate before we reach the 4th fret, what will this note be? So we'll start from here. If this is D, then simply means we can actually move this from D going to E. That's a whole step. So that's E. If I move a half step here, that will be F. And then if I move a half step, since we're on the 4th fret, it will simply means this will be F sharp. So meaning we have F sharp in the scale again. So remember, these notes that I'm actually playing here are the ones that are making the A major scale. So we have A, B, C sharp, D, and then E, and then we have F sharp there that we just found. So if we move a whole step from F sharp going all the way up to here, remember this is F sharp, meaning the next note will be what? If I move a half step, that will be what? Between F, that will be an actual G. So from G, if I move it half step going up, it simply means this will be G sharp. And then if I move a half step going up, that would be what? From G sharp going to A, that would be an A. That's the whole scale. That's how we find the whole scale. So it doesn't matter. There are other what's this that are difficult scales. Remember, we have 12 major scales in total, 12 major scales that you can actually find. So this would be a good exercise if you actually learn this and then you go and try and find them yourself. Because if you look at the C, let's go to a C. So if we say this is E, F, G, A, B, then C here. Okay? That water is hot now. So C. Okay. So if we start here, C, following the same pattern of that formula, the diagram here. So meaning we have C here, go a whole step, that's D. Then you move, you see the pattern here. So C, D, and then we come down here to this A string. So meaning, if you actually check this, look, A, the string itself. So meaning A to B, that's a whole step. B to C, that's a half step. So meaning C is here. I'll move a whole step going to D. From D going to E, that's a whole step. So this is E where I'm holding here. If I continue from here again, I'm moving what? A half step? Yes, it's a half step. So half step from E to half step, that's F. And then if I move a whole step, that will actually show from F, that's G. And then I move all the way down to this string here, the D string. So if this is the D string, so we'll start here, D. So D to E, whole step, to F. That's a half step again, so that's F. So from F, whole step, G. From here to here, that's A, the whole step. We found A here. and then we continue. So we move a whole step. A to B is a whole step, and then we move a half step, we're back to C. So meaning the notes that we have, there's no sharp, there's no minor, we just have C, D, E, F, G, E, F. Oh, no, my bad. C, D, E, F, G, then A, B, C. So basically that's how you actually find the name of the notes on the guitar. So you can actually know which note you're actually holding. There are cases where you're playing something and then you just want to know what note you're holding. So this time, if you actually follow this, what I was just talking about, you can actually find them. So if say, at random, I'll just pick a note. This note here, can we identify this note? Simply means this is what? This string is the G string. Oops, my bad. Let me just lift the guitar a bit so that you can actually see. Yes. So this is actually the G string here. So it simply means if I start from here, I say G, the string itself. Meaning the next one, I have to move from G, the next one is A, and I have to move a whole step. So from G here, going a whole step, I'll skip this fret here, and then I'll go into this one. This is A. From here, A to B is a whole step. We move to here. From B to C is a half step. So this is C here. And then I'll move a half step from C going up. It simply means it's a C sharp. So this is C sharp here. So you can do this exercise. Just try and know which notes you're actually holding so that you can actually identify every note here on the fretboard. You'll never be lost ever again. Anyway, thank you for watching. I'll be back again next Sunday with another premiere where I'll actually, I don't know, you can actually leave a comment in the comment section down below to tell me what you think I should actually talk about, in case you have something that you don't actually understand in the theory of music guitar. I'll actually explain it. Otherwise, you can actually have fun and play. At this point, I actually know every note that I'm actually holding there, because if I start from here, this is the E. So I know that this is A, E, because I'm not holding this, E, F, F, G, A. So there's another thing. So by the way, just before I actually go, there's something else I wanted to explain. When you have your what's this, your scale, say you have the C scale, like the way we mentioned it, C, so C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. The reason why I'm using the C is because it's actually easy. There's no sharp, there's no, so I'll just use that for now. There's actually this that you actually need to know. In every scale, when you find your notes, the first letter in that scale, we'll call that 1. Let's number them. So if say we have C, meaning we have C, D, E, F, G, A, B. So if we actually have all these letters, it simply means, here's a simple formula on how to know which of these chords is actually a minor and the majors. So for every first, fourth, and fifth, those are majors all the time in any scale. So remember, 1, 4, 5. I'm pretty sure you've heard people talk about the 1, 4, 5 rule. It simply means in any scale, the first, fourth, and fifth are actually majors. Those are major chords. So if you're holding them, make sure you're holding them as majors. If you're holding, the other formula is the 2, 3, and 6. So if you actually do this, it simply means the second 3 and the 6th here. Sorry, my fingers can't actually bend like that. So like that one. So it simply means second, third, 6th are always minors. Then there's what we call a diminished, which comes as the 7th. Let me just give an example. If I'm actually holding the C, let's do the C. So if I'm holding here, let's say you already know your chords here. So meaning if I hold the C, since we're talking about the C major, this is actually the 1. So meaning this one will be the major. So meaning I don't have to hold the minor C. This will be the major C. So remember 2, 3 are minors. So if I say I have C, D, E. So meaning D and E have to be minors. So meaning I'll hold this will be a minor, the D, and then I'll hold E minor. Oops, I think I didn't tune my guitar very well. I just thought of explaining. I didn't thought of playing today. Alright, anyway, just for demonstration. So C will be a major, D will be a minor, E will be a minor. What follows after that? A, B, C, D, E. C, D, E. Then we have F here. So we have F here. So this F is going to be a major because it's 4th. So major on the 4th. So F will hold it as a major. After F we have what? 5th, which is the G, also a major. It's the lower note, the lower string that's got a problem. Oh my goodness. Yes, so this will be a major. Then remember the 6th again becomes a minor. So what's the 6th? That is A. So we'll hold the A minor down here. A minor. Then after holding the A minor, we have the 7th, which will be the diminished. So after A we have what? B. So where do we hold the B? So if we start on this string here, this here, the A string. So we have A, meaning B is here, and then you hold your diminished, and then back to your C. So that's how you find the do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do whole scale in chord form. Simple and straightforward. Anyway, I'm out. Like, subscribe. Whew. Africa is hot at this time of the year. My goodness, it's really hot. I brought some water here and it's extremely hot. I guess that's what you get for putting water in a mug cup. Anyway, like, subscribe. I'll catch you in my next video. Bye bye.